If you've been trying to create African AI stories but are not able to get consistent characters for your images, then this video is for you. So this is a question I get a lot in the comments, people saying that they've been able to create the stories and the stories are quite good, but then the characters seem to change in every scene. And this is actually a solvable problem, because in this video, I'm going to show you how to create African AI stories with consistent characters. And by the way, this is a Maasai headgear. We're actually going to use it later in the video. More on that later. So step one is for us to create the script for the story that we want to tell. And if you have your own story, then you can skip over this part. But if you don't have, this is the exact prompt that you can use inside of ChatGPT. Create a short African-inspired story using simple narration only and suitable for YouTube videos. And then it goes on to say where the story is going to be set in. And don't worry about the prompts. I'm going to paste them in a PDF and share it with you in the description down below so that you're able to practice this on your own. So you can see that the story is going to be set in a Maasai community, and you can enter in whichever community that you prefer here. I've also set in the main character as Sanaipei, who is age 24. If you have a role for her to play in the community, you can also add it in here. So I've also put in here that Sanaipei is going to be facing unemployment as a struggle. You can put in here whichever struggle that you want your main character to be facing. So the entire prompt is going to be in the PDF in the description down below. So once you enter that, this is the story that I got from ChatGPT. The title is Sanaipei's Quiet Season, and you can see it starts with saying that Sanaipei was 24 years old, and then it continues on and on. So this is the entire story that I got from ChatGPT. So once we're done with the story, we now want to create our main character images, which is going to allow us to have consistent imagery across all our images. So I want ChatGPT to help us describe this main character. So this is the prompt that you input here. Describe our main character for a character sheet, and you just enter that. This is what I got from ChatGPT. We have the name, we have the age, we have the community as we had described above, and then we have the physical appearance of Sanaipei here. We also have her facial expression here. We also have some personal traits and so on. So we don't need to use all of these when we're creating our main character sheet. What we need is the appearance. So this is what we are going to just copy. So just copy all of this, and then we're going to take it to OpenArt, which is what we're going to use to create all our images and videos. And I'm going to leave a link for you in the description down below so that you can also use it for yourself. So once you're signed up and signed in, this is going to be your dashboard here. And you want to go to where it says character here. And you can now see that you can either create a character from an image. So you can start with an image, or you can start with a description. That is what we want to use. So we're just going to start with the description here. And then you're just going to paste in what we have copied from ChatGPT. And now you want to define here the model that you want to be used to create your character sheet. So you could either use OpenArt default, or you could use Seedream 4.5 and so many others here. I want to use Seedream 4.5. Okay, and then in the style, I'm going to go with photorealistic, but there are so many other styles that you can go with. Click on generate here. Yeah, and this is going to now present for us 4 images that we can work with. Either of these could be our Sanaipei. And when I look at them, I think I'm going to go with just the first one here. Click on build my character, and this is going to allow you to have like the entire character sheet that you can use for all your images. Okay, so now we have some images of Sanaipei here. We have the front view here. We have a close-up, we also have a full body view, and we even have a back view. So if you don't like that, you can always regenerate. Otherwise, click on looks good, and then you can name your character here. So I'm going to call this Sanaipei 2, and this is because I already have a Sanaipei 1 who I had created a bit earlier. And then in the background story here, you can give a little bit more story about your character if you want. Alternatively, you can just go back to ChatGPT and you can copy some of the other things that were here. Maybe you can copy the personal traits here. So we'll copy that, bring it back here, and we can just paste it there. Save character. So this character has both a name and some of the traits that we have, which we got from ChatGPT. So now we've saved our character. You can see that Sanaipei 2 is now ready for the spotlight. We can start creating images with her. So we now have Sanaipei, and we also have Sanaipei 2, which is what we've just created right now. I had created Sanaipei 1 a bit earlier. So to start creating, thing, you just click on the character that you've just created. We could click on this Sanaipei 2 here, and we can now start creating images using this character. So you can see we have Sanaipei 2. If you want to use another character, for example Sanaipei 1, just click on switch, and now you can select the other character that you want to create images with. So if I just go back here, you can see we have a prompt area here. This is where you're going to enter in all the different prompts to create your images with. And now we can start creating our images and videos. And the first thing that you want to do is to ask ChatGPT to break down your story into scenes. So this is the exact prompt that I entered in here. And again, all the prompts are going to be in the PDF in the description down below. And this is what I got from ChatGPT here. We have the first scene, and we also get a visual idea of what is happening. And then we have the image prompt, and we also have a video prompt. And this is replicated for all the different scenes that ChatGPT was able to break my story into. It broke it into 8 scenes. So now what we want to do is to copy the first image prompt, and then we take it back to OpenArt. So we just copy this, and then we are going to take it back to OpenArt here. Paste it here. You can see that our character is already referenced here, but you can always choose the section that you want them to be referencing. For example, I could decide I didn't want them referenced in this first part, and then we're just going to have realistic cinematic illustration of an African woman in her mid-20s. Yeah, so where it says African woman here, this is where we are going to change so that we can now reference Sanaipei. So if you just put in the art sign, you can see that you're able to reference Sanaipei 2 here, and you can see now the rest of the prompt remains the same. So if you have any other reference images, you can upload them here. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a bit. So you can see we also have the generation mode. I chose this to be fast. In the output size, I went with 16:9, which is what you normally use for YouTube videos. You can let the resolution stay as it is. In the model, this is where you get to choose the model that you want to generate images with. I'm going to go with Seedream 4.5, and we're just going to click on create. This is now going to create for us our very first images, and this is how you actually create all the images that you want to use in your video. Just go back to ChatGPT, copy the prompt, come back to OpenArt, paste it here, and then you just click on create, and the images are going to be created for you. This is our first image here. Yeah, so you can see that is what Sanaipei looks like here. Now, another neat trick that I want to show you before we even create any other images is that you can reference other things that you would like to add in the images. For example, I can come here to the reference image here, click on that, and then I'm going to click on upload. And you can see I have some things here. This is where we have the Maasai headgear that I told you we were going to use a bit later on. So if you look at my images here, you can see I have this first one here, and then I have this one is of a red Maasai shuka, and then we have the headgear here. So let's first of all add in this Maasai red shuka, and then we can also add in this headgear. Okay, so now we can go to where in the prompt area where it talks about clothing, we can see we have simple everyday clothing with these Maasai elements. So this is where I want us to have here until clothing. So here I'm going to say wearing. So I'm going to say wearing a red Maasai shuka, and then I'm going to reference this image that we have here. Image 1, this is the one, and then we can also add a Maasai headgear, and then again put in the art sign so that we're able to reference this. And now if I just click on create here, you will see that we are going to get almost the same image that we had before with Sanaipei 2 here, but now she's going to be having the red Maasai shuka and also the Maasai headgear as we have uploaded in our reference images. So this is a really neat trick for you to add in other things into your imagery which you think would suit that particular purpose. So maybe when your image has been created and it doesn't have the things that you want, you can always use in this. So this is what we have here. Yeah, you can see we now have Sanaipei here wearing the headgear and also the red Masai shuka. But I just wanted to show you that you can add in reference images inside of your main character so that you have your main character looking exactly as how you would want them. So I use that exact process to create all the images. So you can see these are all the images here that I created of Sanaipei. And when you like an image or you think that you're going to use it later for your video, you can always add a star to it here. Yeah, so it is going to be easier for you to use it. And now we want to go to our next step, and that is of us creating videos from our images. And we're still going to use OpenArt, and the process is quite straightforward. So when you want to create your videos, I'm going to go to our very first video prompt here of ChatGPT. So we'll copy this, and then we're going to come back to OpenArt. We also want to ensure that we select the image that corresponds to this. So I'm going to just go to that image here. So I'm just going to click on that, and now we just click on where it says image to video here. This is what is going to open for us the video generator. Yeah, so you can see we have other videos here. Yeah, and you can see that the image is already referenced here, but this model is not what I want to use. This is Sedans. I want to use Kling 2.6, so click on that, and you can see that now our image is gone. So just right click, go to history, and then we're going to select our image again. This is the image that I want to use. Confirm, you can see it's the start frame. Now we are going to paste in here our prompt. And then in the duration, I can have it as 5 seconds. I would prefer that the audio is off since I'm going to add in a voiceover here. Click on create. Yeah, so now it's creating our very first video for us. So these are other videos that I had created of Sanaipei here. It's just that I lost the screen recording for that. And so I had to do another sort of screen recording just so that I'm able to show you the steps. So you can see that our video has been created here. Let's play it. Yeah, so you can see Sanaipei is slowly walking to the screen there, and you use the exact same process to create all the other videos. So these are some of the other videos I had created. Let me show you. Let me show you another one. We also have another one here. Yeah, so why I decided to add in the Masai shuka and also the headgear is because I wanted the more hopeful part of the story to have like a change of clothing just to show that the mood had changed. And the earlier part where Sanaipei is going through this struggling process, you know, unsure, uncertain, it has a kind of other different clothing where she has the more simple Masai clothing. So that is why I decided to do that. So once you're done creating all the videos that you're going to use, we're now going to add in the voiceover, and we're going to do that still inside of OpenArt. So go to where it says audio here. Yeah, and then you can see we have create voiceover, which is what we want to do. So we have the voiceover script area here is where we are going to paste in our story, and you can see that you're going to be using 11 labs for this. So you could decide to use any version of 11 labs, even this 11 v3, which is the latest version of 11 labs. Now we're going to go back to ChatGPT, and this is the prompt that you use to get the narration from your story. Extract only the narration from the story above, and then we have some requirements there, and this is the entire story. So I'm just going to copy it, bring it back here, and just paste it. Okay, and now you can choose a voice that you'd like to use. So we have many voices here, and you even have some filters that you can use to ensure that you get the voice that you're looking for. So I just went with Samantha here, and then just click on create. The voiceover is going to be added in for you. So once you're done with generating the voiceover, you just download it. And by the way, we also need to download all the videos that we created. So just go to assets here. This is going to have the videos that you created and also the images. Okay, so for every video that you need to use, you just click on download there. So I'm going to ensure that I download all the ones that I want to use. Okay, and the last step is just for you to compile everything. I use CapCut for this. So just open CapCut. You can either use it online or you can use it on your desktop, which is what I'm using. So just import in all the videos that you created, plus the voiceover and some music. If you want to add in music here, you can use music from the YouTube audio library. And then you just want to ensure that you arrange all the videos that you created in the way in which they follow each other. And then you add in your voiceover and ensure that when you're listening to the voiceover, what is happening on screen is what the voiceover is saying. And you just do that for the entire video. You can then add in your music. You just want to ensure that you reduce the volume so that the volume of the music does not overpower the voiceover. You can also add in some transitions and effects if you want. Once you're done, just click on export. This is what my final video looks like.
Sanai Pei was 24 years old. She lived in a small Maasai community where the land stretched wide and the mornings were calm. Each day began early. Cows were guided out, children ran across the dust. Life moved with purpose, but Sanai Pei felt left behind. She had finished school long ago. She searched for work. She waited. Nothing came. In her culture, strength meant silence. A grown woman did not complain. One afternoon, she helped an elder gather firewood. The sun was hot. Her hands were tired. She watched the elder move slowly, step by step, and something became clear. Waiting in silence was not strength. Movement was. That evening, Sanai Pei chose to begin again. Small work, small learning, small effort each day. Nothing changed at once, but she did. And sometimes, that is where life truly begins.
Yeah, so that is how to create African AI stories with consistent characters. If you want to learn more on how to create stories just like this, ensure you subscribe to the channel. My name is Paris, and I'll catch you in the next video.